Simply, I also have to do this on my phone because the laptop quality of my microphone is insane. So it has to be vertical. Whoa, how'd you
Ella,
do
look at
that?
you.
How'd you
What?
do
How
that?
cool? Hey guys.
Hey,
Hey,
wait, is
what's
that
up, girl?
is that in real life? Wait, how'd you do that?
Sharkyella.
How do I?
Why it's on my mouth, I'm not too sure.
How do you do that?
I just a little movie magic. But I think I'm gonna
That's
That's
take
what
it
you look
off.
like now.
That's just yeah. I got some work done. But I think I'm actually going to take it off like presently because it's really gonna annoy me.
Wait, hold on, hold on.
Wait, let me get the Oh, we
We
got a
could literally be
background.
in the Little Mermaid
We
remake.
got an ocean. We got a lot of ocean. We're about all kind of giving ocean right now.
we are all giving oceans.
We are.
Here. Okay, are you guys ready for the presentation?
I'm
Yeah.
ready, misuse. Why do
Okay.
I get the sense that this isn't something I can change once I start the meeting?
I don't know.
You don't know how to
Well,
take a
You
let's
might
just
be
shortcut?
right.
now. Notate.
Interesting.
Oh,
Now it's
I'm
just
learning
you.
so much about Zoom tonight. I'd
All
love to
right.
undo that.
Wait, what is that?
But actually, I'm really learning a lot
How did
tonight.
you do that? Oh, is that Helen?
That is
Hi,
I got a
Helen.
little. There's a little pencil in the bottom left.
Right. I didn't know
Yeah.
about that. Oh my God, that's my name. Okay,
Wait,
so
Grace
an
totally wrote her name.
introduction to Hannah. Hannah is my friend from camp, and she's also my gecko's godmother.
My fault.
And she's and Ella's still a shark.
I'm figuring
And
it out.
Hannah works. Can I dox your work? No, let's not. Works
You
at
can
a.
dox me.
Okay. She works at Clearwater Marine Aquarium in Florida, and she works with the dolphins, rehabilitating them and scuba diving with them
Wait,
or
what's the doxing
something.
that's happening here?
She just said the name of the aquarium, which is
Oh,
fine. That's not secret
I'm
knowledge.
not sure that that's. You're good. I think you're good.
And she has a degree in freshwater marine biology.
Correct. Okay, first thing I wanted to point out that I was telling all my coworkers today is simply that one of my lifelong dreams, it is written in stone on my bucket list, is to be a person who like goes on a documentary or something and I'm like sitting in a room and there's like a British man and he's like, "So, tell me about this like, super specific marine life." And underneath me in like the little sidebar it says Hanna Livingston, marine biologist PhD. And so this is really like the beginning of that journey for me and
I
I'm
love
really proud
that
of
for
that.
you.
Yeah.
We're basically the British guy for you.
You basically are.
That sounds like us. That
Yeah.
sounds like
Yeah.
us.
Hopefully the recording is picking up how I'm moving us around the screen. But
I can see
anyways,
it.
you
Yeah,
can see it?
I
I
can see
can
that.
see your mouse.
The recording that picks up a mouse.
No, I know it picks up the mouse, but I'm moving like us as a group,
Oh well,
but
Oh, I don't
you
see
wouldn't
I
get
would
that.
not
it.
be seeing that, but you probably are seeing that.
Yeah. Anyways, so I did come up with a few questions because I've some, wonderings about marine life. I started out as a zoology major myself, so I like to think you and I were kind of the same. But my first question is it true that dolphins are girls and sharks are boys?
Um, Personally, yes.
Okay.
That is my personal, I agree with that statement. But fun fact, sharks are like completely not even closely related to dolphins. Dolphins are whales.
Right. They're also
Yeah.
Does that mean
mammals.
other whales are mammals?
Yeah, other
That's new
whales
information for me.
whales are mammals.
Then how do they stay underwater so long?
So whales all hold their breath.
What?
Yeah.
This is completely new information.
Sharks are fish. They have gills. They breathe water, which we will actually see on one of my upcoming slides here where I describe how sharks or how fish breathe water. It's kind of cool. Um, but yeah, all dolphins and whales and porpoises and seals and things of that nature all just hold their breath.
I can do that too, but like whatever.
Yeah, basically the same.
In Minecraft, dolphins don't have babies. Is that true in real life?
No, that's not true. Our dolphins are actually on birth control.
Really?
Yeah, there's dolphin birth control.
What
That's
kind?
sick.
Is it a pill?
It's like a shot.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Are dolphins actually evil? Because why do they keep all their secrets from us? Like they're mammals, but they live in the sea. What's that about? Like I want to live in the sea, but the dolphins won't tell me how. That's kind of a bitch move. Gatekeeping isn't cool, and the dolphins haven't gotten the memo about that. Or they have, and they're just being mean and fake on purpose.
Okay, I agree with dolphins are evil. That's not the reason I would go with. They do commit crimes. Like they simply do. Dolphins are really badly behaved
Such as?
little creatures. Well, like they don't really see you, kind of like how a dog, when it plays with you, it might play rough because it thinks you're like a dog and also like you're durable. But dolphins do the same thing. Like there have been multiple, like if you Google like dolphin news articles, you will see instances of like dolphins like pulling children underwater to like play with them because they think they're like other dolphins and they want to like play with you, like how they play with other dolphins and then they drown children. And they also have like raped people and they also rape each other.
Yeah, wait, I heard about, I don't know if this was an incident. I think this was kind of more the dolphins caretaker's fault. But do you know the story of the
Yes.
guy? Yeah, okay.
I know where you're going with this,
Yeah,
and
I don't,
yes,
I just remember there was like a dolphin guy who like had his dolphin,
there
but
was, yes,
there was
she was
incestuous or
she was
bestiality.
trying, it was a dolphin trainer girl, and she had a male dolphin, and
Sorry,
they
miss.
like had this long relationship, and like everyone who has like dolphins in captivity or whatever, like they play with you, so you build like a relationship with them, and they can like recognize your face, and so you can like give them back scratches and stuff, and they like that. But she was realizing, this was like a long time ago, this was like the 80s or 90s or something, but she was realizing that if she like pleasured her dolphin, he would sometimes perform better in these like assessments, and so it just
Okay, but that's
became
not a
like a
good
whole
enough
thing.
reason for me.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
No
like that girl
reason
that
is a good
murdered.
enough reason for that. There is no reason that is a good enough reason.
Or on porpoise.
Yeah.
If a dolphin wore a hat, what would it look like, and how would it not get wet as it is swimming in the sea?
Ooh, that's hard. I think that's the hardest question you've asked. I can't think of a way.
It could
Everything
be
like
like
in a bubble of air.
I was gonna say like, well, this would get wet, but like a wet hat.
Okay,
Yeah,
wet
I
hat.
mean,
Like an umbrella hat.
like they could wear a
Oh.
hat.
Maybe we shouldn't try and make it be something it's not. Maybe we should let the hat get wet.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Why does the hat need to not get wet whilst swimming in the sea?
I don't know. Like, what if the dolphin doesn't want it to get wet?
And the dolphins stay above the sea.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah,
What do dolphins think about the American healthcare system?
they definitely hate it. I mean, not big fans. They personally have a lot of medical challenges. I mean, especially the ones that where I work because they're like all basically like disabled dolphins. So they're really expensive. And we get like monthly meetings and they tell us about like the health of the dolphins, and they also tell us like the budget and the amount of budget that goes to like medicine for dolphins. Simply insane.
Damn.
So they'd believe in universal healthcare.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. I know for a fact that Grace knows this fun fact, but Ella, I hope you do not because it's simply one of my favorite things in the entire world. I know Grace knows this fun fact because at one point she was walking around with her journal and asking just everyone, I believe, for a fun fact, or it was just something like a thing that they knew.
Yes.
And this was, of course, mine. It is my favorite fun fact. I tell it to everyone. But parrotfish, they are my favorite fish for many reasons, but this is one of them. They poop sand. So here we have an image of one doing that, pooping sand. And that is what they look like. And that is on the bottom, it's a picture of coral. And if you zoom in, you can kind of see the like zoomed in part of the
Mhm.
image.
Yep.
That's what coral is. So like the little flowery guys are what's alive, and like the hard part is calcium carbonate. It's like a rock.
That's that porn that SpongeBob watches. I'm
He
realizing
does
that
what?
now.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
He watches
When
coral
it's on
porn.
his TV and the things are
Hmm.
going like they're dancing. Yeah, so basically they eat the hard part. Oh my God, wait, I actually have I have I have a thing to show you then. Oh my
Whoa,
God.
it's a parrotfish.
Okay, but hold on. Oh no, things are happening.
Wow, beautiful view.
Falling in the ocean.
Oh no. Okay, I hope it comes up. This is actually a piece of coral.
Whoa, that's cool.
Whoa.
And so it's like hard. It's like a rock. And so what the parrotfish do is there's like the alive bits that are like these little circles, and that's called a polyp, and that's the alive part. And the parrotfish eat that, and so they ram their heads into the coral until they like break it, and then they eat the alive parts, but some
They're
of the
so
rock
smart.
gets in their stomach, and then they digest it and they poop it out, and that is what sand is.
Wow, that's what sand is?
Not all sand, but like some
But like
sand.
some of it. I love that because I hate when fish poop. I think it's so like uncouth. Like it actually, I have 4 pet fish and I don't like when they do that. So I like that they poop sand. That makes me happy.
I
Yeah.
also have coral.
Oh, that's
I
sick.
think.
Where'd you get
Here,
that
wait,
from?
let me turn this off.
Oh, no.
There's this one, and then there's this one.
Oh, that's
I don't know if
sick.
this is
Wait,
coral.
I have a turtle.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Wow, that's actually crazy.
Whoa.
This isn't mine, but it was just sitting next to me. All of a sudden, there was just a turtle next to me.
It
Wow.
manifested
It
itself.
did.
I think this is from the Great Barrier Reef before
Where'd
you
you get
weren't
it?
allowed to take it. It's my grandpa got it
Hmm.
when
Cool.
he was when he scuba dived.
Wow.
Okay, anyways.
Anyways, yeah, that's
Coral
parrotfish.
tour.
That's coral. That's parrotfish. They're my favorite fish because they're really pretty and they're like little fins that are in the front. They move them like up and down, not like they go like this and not like this. And so it looks like they're flying. That's why they're parrotfish.
Oh
Wow.
yeah, it's a party.
Beautiful. I love fish. I think fish are some of my favorite animals. They're just so beautiful. I like betas. We have 4 betas right now. Or I don't know. We have actually. They're awesome. Boys club.
Boys, they're all boys.
They're all boys. Yeah, because
That's pretty sick.
couldn't really mix
Lame.
around.
Yeah.
No, the
I mean,
boys are
lame.
pretty. The boys are well. Some of them, I think some of them are kind of girly, but some of them are girls to me. But
That's
we
okay.
boys because we weren't allowed to.
That's like Strawberry. I don't know what she is, but she's a she to
That's a
me.
girl. That's a girl.
Okay, oh my
Sargassum
God.
belt?
Yeah, this has been the news recently. I thought you guys would be interested to learn about it. But basically, sargassum is a seaweed, and it's always been in the oceans, and it just kind of like floats and it forms these like giant blobs. But recently, because of increases in nutrients, it's been like getting more and more of it. So these are some maps of how it like ends up on beaches, and it's like destroying the tourism economy of like the Caribbean and Florida
Oh.
because it's like this seaweed and then it washes up on the beaches in the springtime and early summer, and then it like washes up and then it dies and it smells like massive piles of rotting seaweed would. So it's really stinky and it's like causing a lot of problems.
So
And
it's
also like
bad.
killing things.
Well, I was gonna say it's bad for tourism, but what is it? What is its other impacts?
Oh,
Like,
it's also bad for like the fish too because so it's like a So there's a lot of seaweed, which is initially like you might think is a good thing because it like blooms and there's a lot of food to eat for the things that eat it. But then it sucks up all of like the nutrients in the ocean, and then when it exceeds the point where it sucked up all the nutrients, then all of the nutrients are gone. So it suddenly starts to die. And then when things decay, they release like toxins, and also they like create an oxygen deprived environment. So then everything around it dies because there's a bunch of rotting seaweed.
Well,
So,
that's
like,
not good.
like algae bloom.
Yeah. It's the
Kind of
yeah, it's
that.
like the same thing as algae blooms. Yeah.
Okay, the Fibonacci
I
sequence.
love this one.
I love this thing.
Love it.
Love this thing.
It's just cool. And when I was trying to brainstorm like random bits of information to throw at you people, sorry, is you people offensive? I don't know. I
Not to
don't
me.
think okay, good. I was like, that's sick. I should put it on there in case they don't know about it. But it's the sickest thing in the world, and it's basically how math is like numbers is like the universe. And it's just a sequence of numbers, and you add the two previous numbers to get the next one, and the ratio of it is 1.6, and that is like the curve of everything in nature.
Whoa.
Have you ever seen the show Her? Her? Oh my god, no. Touch.
Touch, yes.
Ah, that's where I first was.
It's so good.
Same.
I would want to rewatch that show. That show is crazy. It's so good.
Yeah, I agree. It used to be on Netflix, I think, but now it's on Hulu or something like
Wow.
that.
Okay, no, I'm gonna watch that again.
Freshwater
Okay.
versus saltwater fish?
This is what I was talking about with how fish breathe water. So fish breathe and drink at the same time. That's the same thing to them. So freshwater fish, obviously, they live in fresh water, not salty. And so all organisms on Earth, they have to keep a balance of like water to like ions, mainly salt, in their, cells. And so freshwater fish, they take in the fresh water and then they kind of like they get rid of a lot of the water and they suck in the amount that they need to get the right concentration of like ions. And so they suck in a lot of water and also pee out a lot. Like they exhale a lot through their gills. And then saltwater fish are like the opposite situation. And so like when they drink water, they drink a lot of water like all the time, but they take in most of the water and like filter out all of the little salty bits. And yeah, same with sharks. But dolphins don't do that. Dolphins don't drink water at all. They get all the water they need by eating the fish. And so when they eat, they just have like their mouth is kind of crazy. And I was literally looking at it today because one of them was yelling at me. Anyway, long story. A dolphin, not a person, if that wasn't clear. Basically one of the dolphins doesn't like the sound that the cart that we push the vacuum hose in because it's really squeaky. And so whenever you walk past, he like screams at you. But yeah, so their mouth is like just for eating. It's not for drinking or for breathing. It's just food. And so then when they put the fish in their mouth, obviously some water gets in there and they like squirt the water out and then they just swallow the fish whole. They don't chew their food. They only use their teeth to rip things apart.
Whoa.
This is fish or dolphins? This is dolphins.
This is dolphins, yeah.
What happens if they drink water?
Well, like they just
What if they do by accident?
If they do by accident, it's okay. Like a little bit, I'm sure goes down like their throat.
Yeah.
But they have like their tongue is like really big and it like like their mouth, the way it's shaped, like when they close their mouth on a fish, it just like only the fish is in there. Because their tongue like squishes their mouth. So there's no like air pocket in there like there is in our mouth when your mouth is closed.
Oh, like it vacuum seals it.
Yeah, it vacuum seals
I'm gonna
it.
start eating like that.
And then you just swallow it. You don't have to chew.
That is crazy.
They also don't have a gag reflex.
Okay. Same. Wait, what? Before we do this, Hannah, would you like to explain exactly what your job is and like what your day looks like?
Oh my God, yeah. So I work on the dive team. So I go in the morning and then we we normally do 2 dives a day. We have like 2 dive times. So it's like 8 to like 11 and then we have lunch and then it's from like 1 to like 3 and then we leave. And it takes a lot of time to like set up the stuff and like shower and whatever. Honestly, one of the best things about my job is that I get to shower at work. And honestly, showering for me, such a chore. So the fact that I am showering at work
You're
makes
getting
my
paid to
evenings.
shower.
Yeah, well, actually, no, because I'm not getting paid at all.
Okay, so you're not getting paid to shower. You're getting it done within your working hours, and you don't have to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And so we do a dive in the morning. Most of our dives are like cleaning things. Some of the dives are like maintenance, and some are feeding some fish. Um, and so yeah, we do a dive in the morning. Like this morning, we cleaned one of the pools, a dolphin habitat pool, but I was topside, so I just like I'm like a lifeguard for scuba divers, basically. And then the other people dive and you like set up all their stuff. And we use all these like fancy giant tools. Like there's a power scrubber, which is like a pressure washer hose attached to a thing that has 2 motors and 2 brush heads that like spin really fast in circles. And then we use it to scrub all the walls and the floor.
I need that
It's
for
really
Strawberry's
effective.
tank.
I that for my brain.
I want to do it to my brain too. So yes. But
Do
yeah, that's what I
you
do.
do you teach kids about dolphins? Is that part of your job too?
Yeah, when we're like topside, so like when I'm being the lifeguard for scuba divers, then you're just standing like by the top of the habitat. So people come up to you and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And we're like, "Oh, we're scuba diving." And then they ask me all the questions that a child could possibly want to ask at an aquarium. And so I get to answer all of those.
That's so fun.
Yeah. I also get to hang out with children underwater, which is even more fun because like I when I'm cleaning, like I do this all the time. When I'm cleaning, I go to the windows and then there's children over there and I get to like fist bump them and high five and we play rock paper scissors and I do flips for them and I blow bubbles at them.
That's so
And children
cute.
children are amazed by it, let me tell you.
But I have up on the screen the dream that I had 2 nights ago, and I picked this one specially for Hannah. Grace, was driving in the car with the fall girlies, Anna, Hannah, and David flew out of the car somehow, like he was legit sucked out of a window or something, as if we were in an airplane. We barely reacted, and we were just like, damn, that sucks, hope he's okay, and kept driving.
Well, I feel like this is really common in dreams that people die and you like are just like, all right. Um, so this is
Oh, he
giving.
didn't die. We found him like an hour later.
Oh, he was fine.
Yeah. He
Well,
was
that's
just like,
great.
hey guys.
I was gonna say if he did die, that seems like a new beginning, or like you're kind of like getting rid of something, like you're the baggage, you're dumping the baggage out the window, because David is so represents so much baggage to you, even though that's not true. But he didn't die, so that does kind of change things, but it still does kind of have a sense of like getting rid of, even if he didn't die. And these are all people who you love and trust a lot. So okay, some drama. All right.
Kidding, I'm kidding.
So you're in an environment that is very like supportive, right? So these are people who represent like people that you trust and you know well. So there's like that level of like stability and comfort. You're in a car, which is interesting because it's moving. So it's like, to me, that kind of, hi, thank you. Sorry, there's a really loud truck outside my window. So it's like, in some sense,
Wait,
it's like,
wait, 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 wait. Did you just say hi, thank you to the truck?
I did.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Um,
Just making sure.
So a lot of transformation is happening out in like the world outside because you're moving, and a lot of movement, but you have like this base of like support around you. And then Mr. David like out the window, that's just like another transformation kind of thing. But the fact that you were like okay with it like to me this just is like a very positive dream. This is like a very like change is happening and you're accepting it because you have a solid foundation. And then the fact that he came back alive is to me sort of like representative of like kind of like I guess a cyclical maybe like that he kind of came back. Like I mean he never really died, but like in your head he did kind of, and he came back. And I feel like there's also like a comfort or stability in that of being able to let things go and know that they'll come back to you when they need to. So I think this is overall, this is good vibes. This is a good sign. And I just like kind of made all of that up. But if you think
Okay,
that
love that.
if you like that, then take it.
I think that's what it should mean, even if that's not what it didn't mean.
Yeah, I mean, and you'll never really know. So
We'll never know.
and we'll never guess we'll never know. I had a
Guess
really
we'll never know.
I had an interesting dream too that I have a lot, which is like where I wake up in a bed in public. And I looked it up, like it was like, what does this mean? And it's like pretty common. And the main thing that the internet said was like attention seeking. And I was like, okay, I guess.
Okay,
And then
attention
they're
whore.
also saying like big change, but I feel like every single thing is like this represents change and growth. And something also said like this was like literally not like comprehensively written, so I feel like it was like, are you kidding? 10 minutes left. Anyways, like this was getting AI generated, but it was like you are really selfish and shallow because you sleep in a dream, and a dream is when you should not be sleeping because your body is sleeping. And so they basically told me like I'm shallow, but
That's so stupid and false.
I don't think that's true. That didn't seem right. Did not sit right.
Yeah, I
with
don't
me.
think that's right at all.
Yeah, I also disagree. That's dumb.
Hannah, have you had any?
Do you have any dreams?
Yeah, I had two that came to mind. These happened this past Saturday and Sunday. They're both just completely insane, so I'll give you the rundown of both. The first one was I was with all my coworkers and we were rock climbing outside on a cliff, and two of them were like doing it incorrectly, and I like went stop, and then they fell, but the cliff was like over the ocean and it was like infinitely tall, and we fell, and then like because they fell we like all fell into the ocean, and then suddenly are in like an underwater scuba, like not scuba, submarine thing, and we like appear in the submarine, and then we're driving underwater through the submarine, and then it like zooms out and there's like a map, and we're driving from like this island to the next island, and then as we're driving in the underwater submarine, we encounter a bunch of orcas, like orca whales, but they're like huge. They're like really big, bigger than they should be compared to our submarine. But they're like doing anthropomorphized things. Like they were like giving me peace signs, like as we passed. They were like being little girlies. They weren't like being
Aw.
wild. And then we like dipped in the ocean, like the submarine took a dive, and then I woke up and I literally like startled myself awake.
Wow, that's great. That's a really cool dream. There's a lot. I
There's
feel
a
like
lot there.
the deeper you go, like right off the bat, to me, like the deeper is the more like deeper in like yourself and like you're like the iceberg, the ego, id, super ego, iceberg, and I already forget which one's which, but like I know ego is like the most, or like id, I don't really remember. Whichever one is the most like socially like about like how you think you should act and like controlling your actions to make them socially acceptable, like that's like the mountain to me. This is so like literally an iceberg, which is really because it's rock and water. And I think you saying no you're doing it wrong is like you're trying to control, like you want to control the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And even though you do know what is right, at the end of the day it's like, well, you can't make people do something that even though you know is wrong, that they're gonna do what they're gonna do. And I feel like it's like, oh, holding back, like I don't want to go deeper within myself. I'm going to try to control an ultimately uncontrollable situation, and then it turns out to be uncontrollable and you all fall, and underwater like the deeper you go, which is interesting because it's like water is something you are familiar with because of your background, but it's also like the ocean is just like notoriously like unfamiliar. So it's like you're entering this like to you specifically familiar place, but like metaphorically just like and literally unfamiliar, and like you're kind of like getting more acquainted with maybe like the parts of yourself that are more hidden or more suppressed, or just hello Grace, what's up?
Hannah, do you remember the Phineas and Ferb episode where they go inside one of their minds and they talk about the id and the superego?
Of course. Yes, I do.
Okay. I just looked it up, and the id is your basic instincts, the ego is reality, and the superego is morality. So, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, super ego
Okay, yeah.
is the rock, ego's kind of like land, and then the it is the water and the orcas. So when things are big, animals are really common, I feel like, in all the dreams, and I think that when things are bigger than they are, it represents like you thinking things are bigger than they are, which would make sense because you're underwater, you're in like the depths of your being, and so things are going to be scary and sort of like daunting and like hard. You don't want to like necessarily face it, so they're going to appear bigger. But then the fact that they were like acting like humans and giving you peace signs and like being fun is like, well, once you actually did look at them, they weren't like these evil things. And I feel like that could be like speaking to the fact that once you actually confront like what you're scared of within yourself and like just like have the courage to like look it in the eye, it's not going to be as bad as you make it out to be in your head. Like it's always going to be scarier when you're not willing to look at it. And then the fact that you woke up, well, that could be a million different things. Like you could have like heard a noise, but it also could be like, because that was like when you went deeper, right? Like you don't
Yeah.
woke up, like that could be just like it was just like too uncomfortable. But I also like don't really know like why people wake up. I did learn in psych that you don't wake up, like you don't naturally wake up out of dreams. So maybe it was like you heard a noise or something. You naturally, yeah, you REM, because REM's when you dream, yeah, and you go through stage 3 and then you wake up. So it's like like a natural sleep cycle does not wake up from dreams. So usually when we do wake up from dreams, I don't really know.
It's when the killer is in your room.
Yeah, probably there might have been.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you check on that? Because
I didn't check under my bed. Maybe I should.
maybe you should have.
Yeah, probably. Too late now. If they would have gotten me, they would have gotten me, and they didn't. So that's on them.
true.
Yeah, but
Hannah 1, killer 0.
Yep. That's pretty much how my life goes. The other dream was significantly less deep, I think. It was it was I'm pretty sure it's because I was thinking about, okay, so I went to Five Guys, and I don't know
like
if you know this, but
IRL?
you can get a no, like in the dream. This is the dream. Did you
Today
know you can get
I passed by a Five Guys and I was like, I feel like I don't know if there's a Five Guys by like wherever Hannah is, but like we should go to Five Guys together when she's here. And I thought of you.
Really?
Oh my God, we were connected
Whoa,
spiritually
that's
because I
crazy.
do really like Five Guys, and you can get a grilled cheese there.
That's what I was like. She would love that because I knew you
I do
like
love that.
you get cheeseburgers without the meat, so that you can have like a cheese sandwich. And I was like, well, at Five Guys they have that, and they have a vegetable
Wait,
and
you
cheese sandwich.
oh my God, you guys are so connected.
Yeah,
Like you do. Wow, that's
yeah.
actually crazy.
So I was craving the grilled cheese. And so in my dream, I went to a Five Guys, and then I walked in and I was like, "Hi, can I get the grilled cheese and the fries?" And she was like, "No." I was like, "What? Yes, I can. It's on the menu right there." And she was like, "No." And then she was like, "French fries, just French fries then?" I was like, "No, I'm not getting just French fries if you're not going to give me the grilled cheese. I'm going to go somewhere else." And she was like, and then she called back. She was like, "French fries." And then
Oh, that's
she like
frustrating.
charged me for them, and they were like $15. And she didn't give me the grilled cheese, and I went to my car and I cried in the dream. And then I went to Chipotle instead. That was the whole dream.
Well, that's giving like not lack of communication. Not even on your like you tried, but
Yeah.
but the way that like I was talking about last week is like not to think of the other people in your dreams as separate people, but like other parts of yourself. So it's like not really necessarily being in communication maybe with yourself. Or and
So
or
I should go to Five Guys, is what my dream was telling me,
yeah.
and get a grilled cheese.
Yeah. And just
Yeah.
like not getting what you want, but
Yeah.
you dealt with the situation in the dream, which is like a good sign. Like you like found an alternative and you went to Chipotle even though you didn't get what you want. But like, yeah, it just seems like a situation, less than a minute, in which like there's something you want and you are not getting it and you don't know how to communicate that, but you ultimately did find a solution. So maybe there is something in your life that you are wanting that you can't seem to have, and it could be something really minute and like it's not necessarily like this like huge thing or even a specific thing, but just like a general sense of frustration when it comes to like communicating your wants and needs clearly and achieving them.
And
But
the
also
fact that you went to Chipotle after means that you had like an alternative in mind, and the fact that like she gave you the French fries, but she didn't give you the thing you really wanted is interesting. It's like
it is interesting.
But
The sad irony of the last 4 years is I've advocated for so long for women to use their voice. And then I was silent.
Were you silent or were you silenced?
The latter.
All right. Well, to pick up where we left off, I was literally what I was in the process of saying was we are going to get cut off. So I pretty much said my piece. But
Yeah.
I'm eating Brookside
Those things
They're so
slap.
good. I literally
Lucky
just like
you.
I love just feeling them like Orbeez.
Okay, wait, but like, how do you eat them? Do you like eat them, or do you let the chocolate dissolve and then bite the two halves in half and then suck on them?
Yep, let me say. I mix and match because I never like I don't want to like I'm like a big proponent of like this is kind of masochistic, but like I never do the thing that I like all the time so that
Yes.
I do it. So sometimes I put them right in and chew them like a freak, like who has no self-control. So then like every third one I get to do what I really like, which is suck on it. And then I always suck on it to the point of them getting smooth. Like if I'm
Yes.
sucking all the way and then I flip the two halves around so they
Yup.
and then chew.
Yes. I
Like
support
when I'm
that so
out right
much.
now, I'm doing that. I think you should go to Five Guys and I think you should get your grilled cheese.
Maybe I will. I think I will tomorrow.
I feel like you deserve
I'll let you
one.
know.
You
Yeah,
deserve
after
one.
all I've been through.
Yeah, because that's that. I mean, the thing about dreams is that they feel real and they have real psychological effects, even they didn't actually happen. So you have been affected. You are truly missing that grilled cheese. You have been slighted by that employee, and you should, exact your revenge in a kind way by doing something for yourself and getting that grilled cheese. And maybe you'll get it for free. Who knows?
Who knows?
You
Truly.
might be free grilled cheese day.
You might.
It might be.
Oop, okay. Well, okay. So I have some things to talk about. And I'm gonna be clearing the air about clearing the air. In that yesterday, I had this realization that I said something last week that I don't want to say was a lie, but it wasn't true, and I think it's only fair that I address it. Unfortunately, I don't know what that thing was. My hypothesis. So I'm trying to be as honest as I can and say that by being forthcoming, I cannot be forthcoming because I don't know what to be forthcoming about. I think what happened was I said that I might have said that I saw like the noon showing of Beau is Afraid. To set the record straight, I saw the 11:25 showing. If that was my mistake, I am putting that out right now.
Personally, hold on. I did listen to the last episode last night in preparation, and you definitely said the 11:25. I remember that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate I just want to be held accountable. So I'm trying to think through what I might have said. Also, Mr. Lagerfeld, you are not Mr. Lagerfield, as I was repeatedly calling you, but I don't feel bad about that because honestly, you don't even deserve to have your name pronounced correctly. But there was no I. There is no field. But yeah, so I'm trying to I have a standard of honesty and transparency that I think is really important. So I just wanted to clear the air and bring that up. So that's all.
I have been talking to my lawyer about this, and we've prepared a statement.
Okay.
Okay. I, Grace, am not able to accept your apology at this time. It is not acceptable that you are unable to hold yourself accountable for this event
I
because
did though.
You are not able to remember the event. So how can you be accountable for something that you don't recall? I went a little off book there at the end, but I think that's okay.
I think that this is accountability though.
But I just feel like it's
the case
not
isn't
genuine.
Closed. This is what did you want me to lie about what I lied about though? You think I should remember?
I just think that if you're trying to like act all high and mighty, like queen of accountability, like maybe you should have prepared and like figured it out and like gone. I don't know, like even if you had to send it to your lawyer, send the last video to your lawyer or a fact checker or something. Just because like the things we say in this podcast are seen by millions of people, and like we need to be telling the truth at all times, and like we can't be spreading misinformation. And so if you're lying, like it's not just you on the line, like it's my career and like my family, and like it's just like not like we can't like be presenting this image that we want to like take accountability for our actions and own up to things and learn and grow if like we're not going to walk the walk and like really evaluate our actions.
Well, I think the most honest thing I can do is admit I don't know. I think it would be disingenuous to get my legal team involved. I think there's a lot of power in admitting that there are some things that we will never know, and I think there's a lot of humility in admitting that. And this
Just
is the end of things.
Ignore the chat. You can ignore
that.
You can ignore
Guys,
the chat.
Just as a fan, you know, like as a lifelong listener to you guys, like I don't want this to be the thing that ends it all. There's so many fans out there, and this is the only thing that brings, you know, joy to their weeks. And I think that like this just isn't the reason to end it.
Yeah, Gris, I think that was kind of inappropriate. I actually think you've acted very, very, very inappropriate since this slide.
Okay, like I think we should just move on.
I think we should move on. Doesn't want us to.
Why?
Hold on, getting my notes.
Okay. I made Hannah watch this episode, and she's never seen another episode of Succession.
Wow.
So I'm very excited for her takes because
kind of a flop episode to jump into. Not that I think it's bad, but I don't think it is. It really would not hit if you didn't know anything, and I think other episodes would hit more than this one, because this one it really helps to know the background of.
I would just love to hear Hannah's take right off the bat without us saying anything else.
Okay. So to start things off, I did first things first, I Googled the list of characters to see faces to names. Because otherwise I wasn't gonna be able to like understand who they were talking about. So I did like try and learn the names. I kind of did. Second thing second, I did like Google just the Wikipedia page to see what it was about. So that is the knowledge that I'm going with, the level of knowledge. And then I started the episode. And the first note that I had written down here is no phone case bold. Why does Shiv have no phone case? I feel like that could have underlying meaning. Second
I
thing
think it's just
second,
because she's a billionaire and she could probably like afford to get another phone if she dropped it. Maybe.
yeah. I feel like it just says a lot about her personally. Also, we need to use the word unbecoming more. I'm adding that to my daily vocab.
Me too.
Next thing I've written is Shiv is a girl boss backstabber.
Mhm.
And I
Pretty much.
support her. I mean, I only watched this one episode. She's my favorite. I'm on her team always. I'm on her team. I'm on no one else's team. That might be
Me too.
because she's the only daughter, and a daughter's always right, especially in this situation. This one is funny. Waystar Ray sounds like one of the syllables is being mispronounced, like Ray Star
Which it is.
Ray or Waystar Way, like with a lisp.
Well, that's
Similarly,
Being mispronounced. It is Waystar Roy.
what am I Roy?
Waystar Roy Co. But even
Royco.
still, I do. I understand what you mean.
Yeah, I do get that.
Waystar Woke. Yeah.
Same
It's a
with
hard one.
in Everything Everywhere All at Once. His name is Waymond. Sounds like someone mispronouncing the name Raymond. Confused me a lot.
Yeah.
Next I have in quotes, gobble my okay, I had used subtitles. I forget how to pronounce this. This was a couple days ago. Gobble my Gravlax. Hold on, let me flip the camera around. You can see my notes.
What are you saying?
Oh wait, hold on. I have to take off the background. None. Okay. Gobble my Gravlax pal. Gravadlax.
Never seen that word in my life.
Me neither.
I'll clear the air.
I don't know in what context that was said. I don't know who it was said by. Probably should have given more context to my note.
I'm not sure about that either.
I thought
That's
that
gonna be the title of the episode.
Gobble my. Do you know like the age?
I know nothing.
Do you know the gender of the person who said it?
I think it was said by a man to Shiv at some point.
It really could be.
Was
it could
Tom
be anyone
who said it?
It might have been. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to rewatch
Guess
this
we'll never know.
and get back to you.
Okay.
I guess we'll never know.
Not
The
really
world doesn't want us to know. And my final thing I've written down is imagine if Batman or Spider-Man showed up whenever Shiv and Tom are arguing on the balcony. The whole time they were like arguing and it was very passionate. I was just imagining like what if like fucking Batman swooped in and was like, stop arguing.
Well, that's a really good point.
That is. I feel like.
Wow.
That'd be very successful of them.
Giving me a lot to think about.
Yeah, that's what I have to say about the show.
I looked up the word and what did come up. Gravlax, as it was spelled, did not come up, but Gravlax is like a salmon dish.
Oh, interesting.
Oh,
That could have been it.
That could have been it. I did pause the screen and write down the spelling that was spelled in the subtitles, but that could have been incorrect.
Sometimes the subtitles are not correct.
Yeah.
On some occasions. So that's the possible answer. That still doesn't tell us who said it, but that could be what it was.
I mean, you would gobble a salmon dish.
I wouldn't because I'm a vegetarian.
Same, but some might say that some might.
I think I probably would. Salmon's my favorite food. I have it for every meal.
Every?
No, but I like to have it for.
So you lied.
Wow.
I don't want to talk about this again.
Okay.
Sometimes I exaggerate for effect.
That's
And I
okay.
don't think that's the same as lying.
Yeah,
I'm
I agree.
mature enough to know the difference, and I think we should move on.
So Hannah,
Okay.
what did you gather was the plot of the show as a whole?
I gathered that so one thing's so their dad died. His name is Logan.
Yes.
R.I.P. Queen. I did look up what episode he died in because I was curious how like long it's been since then. It was only a couple of episodes, right? Like
Yeah.
episode like 3 of this season.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh, this is recent because I kind of like just the first line of the Wikipedia article that I read before watching it was like 4 children of a rich billionaire talk about the company or whatever was like the tagline of the show. So I kind of from reading that thought he was already dead. Like why else would the 4 children be involved in the company? But then I realized he had just recently died. So spoiler alert, now I can't watch the rest of the show, but that's okay. I probably wouldn't have anyway. I mean, maybe I could. You never know. So I gathered that these 4 are struggling with his death while trying to, some of them are pro selling the company to this German company, and some of them are anti selling the company to the German company. And then the German man, Finland?
Swedish.
German. Just go on.
But it could be German.
The man with the fancy outfit, very, very gay man. We love him. Yeah. Matt.
Who was the gay man in question?
Wait, did you say gay?
Yeah.
I actually did know.
I mean, just literally basing this off of the shirt he was wearing at the party.
No, and I think he should be gay. And I read this whole thing that was like, because like people love to like ship the characters and like make them gay, and it was like this whole thing that was like there isn't sexuality does not exist in Succession because it's all power, and I was like that's honestly like tea.
That's very true. Yeah. But yeah, he wants to buy it obviously, but he fudged up his numbers about India. He was like, JK, actually there's not even that many people in India. And everyone was like, oh shit. And so they figured out that if they want to pull out of the deal at this point, then they can just say he's lying, and then they can pull out of the deal. And then the one guy at the end said to the old man, he was like, what if we bought them, switcheroo prank style? And I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So that's what I gathered.
You pretty much got it.
That's pretty much that's as much as I know. Also, like I think with Succession, which is funny, and I just realized this, and maybe you might disagree, but like there kind of like isn't a plot in the way that a lot of other shows of the ilk have a plot, because it's like it's sort of like similar to like the way that
what is the ilk?
Like other types of similar shows.
Okay.
Like because like the way that like comedies are, like there is kind of like a plot, like just like typical sitcom, not saying that's what Succession is, but like it's similar to how there is like an ongoing plot, but it's so like episode to episode. And I think with a lot of dramas, it's like there is one thing that like is kind of like the whole point of it. And you could say that Succession, the whole point is who's going to be the successor. But like that's not that happened. Like we already learned who it is, and like, and it was like, yes, it was like a big moment, but it was also kind of like, okay. And so I think like that's interesting, because I was like talking to my friend about it who doesn't watch it, and she was like, what's the point? Like what is it about? And I was like, it's just like about people and a company. Like, and I think a lot of shows have a thing that like is like the big question. And I don't think Succession has that. I think it's just so much about like relationships and family and wealth and capitalism, but not in a like very like concentrated way. Which is why I also am like, I started liking Succession so much more when I stopped trying to understand every single thing that was going on. Because sometimes there are a lot of shows where you do need to do that. But in this case, I was like, maybe I don't need to know every single detail about the plot, because it's matters a lot more is like what's kind of like not said.
Yeah.
Did you like it though? Like even like that's kind of hard to say like, oh, I liked it if you don't really know.
No, I did like it. It was good. I'm really bad at watching TV shows.
Yeah.
Period. Like I don't, especially right now, I don't have a lot of time and I always fall asleep, as Grace can attest to. I simply will fall asleep if I watch a TV show. So it seems like the kind of thing that would make me fall asleep. So that's
Mhm.
why I feel like I'd be a bad watcher of Succession. Um, the only time I'm good at watching TV shows is when I watch like the whole thing on like a week during like 7 days, like over Christmas break. Like almost every TV show that I've like loved, I've watched in like 2 weeks. I can only do that, and I need like now that I'm an adult, I don't have like summer break anymore. That's used to be what I would do is I'd like sleep for 24 hours a day. I wouldn't leave my bed. I would just like be in bed, watch the whole show, and then be done, and then I'd like move on.
Yeah, I have a similar thing where I'm also not good at watching TV shows, but I have like the opposite thing where I do so well with once a week one episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they pace me really nicely, and I don't have a lot of like the willpower to just like watch a show. I like the schedule of that, and I Succession is different because it's once a week, and I think that that helps me. I cannot watch things by myself.
Yes, I
I
also
really
cannot
just
watch
like
things by
I don't
myself.
enjoy things by myself. Even like Succession, I watch with my friend who doesn't know what's going on. She just happens to be sitting there. Like I just literally need like someone next to me. Same with movies. Like I'll do it, but like I will not pay attention as much.
Yeah, you need to chit chat.
Yeah, and even if I don't even chit chat, just like it's like I feel like I'm being held accountable. And I also like I
Yeah,
won't go on my phone if someone's next to me.
it's
So I'm
like
like, they're
those,
gonna judge
there's a
me.
word for that.
Body
It,
doubling.
yeah, yeah,
That's
that.
like getting things done, but similar idea, yeah.
Okay, well,
Um,
what was your opinions as Succession
I
fans?
loved this episode. Oh, I introduced this show to Ella, and I thought it was funny how you like looked up the character names to like match them to the face, because I remember the first time I showed Ella it and she was like not paying attention, and like a character would walk on screen and she'd go, "Who is that? What's their name?" I was like, "This is the first episode. Like you'll learn their name. I don't need to be answering all these questions."
Yeah, I was not into it
Yeah. The
for a
first
long
like
time.
yeah.
It's tough when they all look the same. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, what, another white man in a suit? Okay,
Yeah,
how am I supposed to tell them apart?
the old men I struggle with, except for Hugo because he's cute. Cute. He's a adorable little face. I
But
really
yeah, I
like
really like this episode because it's all about like the character relationships, and I thought they were really interesting. Like it felt like this episode they had every single possible character combination like interact, which I know
Yeah.
isn't actually true, but that's like how it felt in the moment. And there were so many like really interesting character moments that I thought revealed a lot about the characters. Like for one, when Greg is sitting with Matson and
Ugh,
Oscar, and he
vile scene.
like makes fun of Ebba with them, it's like, oh my god, of course Greg would do that. Greg is like actually the worst. Like
That was
I hate
crazy. Is
Greg
he the
more
guy who
every
fired
episode.
everyone?
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, he seems terrible.
he
Yeah.
is.
He's
Okay,
terrible. He's like
so
the worst.
hey, no, let me explain the lore. So
Yeah.
Greg comes on the scene. He's the first character who's introduced in the whole show.
Really,
Yeah.
it's him in the
He-
suit when he throws up. Whoa.
yeah. And in the first episode, he works at one of the amusement parks that's owned by Waystar Royco as like one of their characters. Like imagine someone in a goofy suit. That was basically what his job was. And he throws up in the suit and it like comes out through the eyes, and that's the introduction to Greg. Is like he's this pathetic guy who like works this badly paying job. But he is related to them because his great uncle is Logan. So he's like in the family, but he isn't close with the family, but he still uses that to get a job at the company, and he like works his way up through that. Basically like weasels his way in through nepotism. Um but he starts out as like you kind of are rooting for him because he doesn't seem like a bad guy. He just seems like a guy who's just doing what's best for him. Like trying to like make money. But as the show goes on, like you realize more and more like how he's kind of just as bad as all the other characters, but he hasn't had the opportunity to be bad his whole life like they have, so he's not good at it. Like, he's really awful, but he's also bad at being awful, like, because he's really stupid too. So, like, that's why he comes off as, like, lovable and goofy and, like, a kind of good guy at first, because he's just bad. Like, he just hasn't had the chance to, like, prove how evil he is yet.
That makes sense. I see that. I was just simply shocked whenever he like did the Zoom mass firing and then he like hung up on them and like literally like he giggled to himself. Did that happen or did I make that up? I was like, this man is a psychopath. He's
He,
crazy.
like, celebrated, yeah.
Yeah.
Because in the show it's kind of an ongoing thing. It's not like a giant running thing, but they mentioned it a few times, how like, oh, how many skulls did you get? Like, how many people did you get to fire? And they view firing people as a good thing because it means that they don't have to pay them as much and they get more money, basically. So skulls, like collecting skulls, is like firing as many people as possible.
That's
And
crazy.
yeah.
Is that like a
Yeah.
real thing, do we think? Is this based on like actual like higher ups of companies?
I'm sure.
Yeah, so the showrunner Jesse Armstrong, he based the Roy family on the Murdochs who run Fox. So their company is a lot like
Oh.
Fox. Their news, ATN, is based off of Fox News, and some of the personalities on it are like similar to some Fox News personalities. And the family dynamics are like certain plot points he gets from Murdoch family, like just
Like drama?
yeah, drama, basically, yeah.
Mhm. I also think
That's so interesting.
I think Greg is also interesting. I think he is trying to convince himself that he enjoys what he's doing. I don't think he genuinely does, because I don't think anyone genuinely does. Like, naturally people are not going to be like, yay, I get to fire people, unless you actually are like literally like clinically psychopathic, which is like a whole other thing I don't really know much about. But people don't like to cause people pain, and you have to get like hardened into that. And I think Greg is a really interesting instance of like his whole arc has kind of been like him hardening into someone who enjoys doing that, because if you can make yourself enjoy doing that, you'll do it more, and you know that that's going to give you power. And I think like him, because he was like really nervous to do the firing, and I know he was like uncomfortable doing it, and I feel like they make him do those things so he can get like desensitized to it. And like I think he's so awkward because he doesn't enjoy it yet, or he can't just like do it like without thinking about it the way the others can. And like the way he was like talking about Eva and like joining all of them, like he stood out as like so awkward, where it was like, this isn't naturally what you're inclined to do, because people don't act like this. But it's like, no, you're actively trying to like assimilate into like the culture. And I think like that's like so much of his character is just like deep like dive into that dynamic.
Yeah. That really reminds me, I know that Mattson is kind of supposed to be like the Elon Musk of the show, but I also feel like Greg, like personality-wise, reminds me of Elon Musk, the way that he's just like so unnatural in everything he does. And he's like trying to be this certain image of like a rich guy and like edgy and funny and like charming, but all these roles, like he does not naturally fit in them, and like it doesn't actually work for him at all. And that's like kind of how Greg is.
Yeah. He's the worst.
Yeah, he's the worst. He's my least favorite character. Every time he's on screen, I'm so mad at him. And he's my least favorite actor because his actor just had like allegations against him, so I don't like that, obviously. And that makes me hate his character a lot more, but I've also been anti-Greg for quite some time.
I agree.
Probably like season 2, I feel like, is when he starts to get annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah. A big moment from this episode was Shiv and Tom's fight on the balcony, and basically their whole
with Batman.
Yeah, with Batman. And their whole like the tensions rising over the course of the night.
Okay, is she
And
pregnant?
Mm-hmm.
yep,
But
Okay.
no one knows.
yeah.
Okay.
She's the lore with Tom and Shiv is that they got engaged in the first season, when Logan, the first death scare that Logan had, and they got married at the end of season 1, and then end of season 2, Tom tells Shiv that he like maybe wants to get divorced, but then the next season, Tom is basically, they think he's gonna go to prison because of like shady things happening in the company.
They also have had an open marriage the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
Interesting.
that was at Shiv's request, not Tom's. And Shiv
Yeah, that
told
makes
him
sense.
that like on their wedding night. And that's like
See?
a cause for a lot of tension too. And yeah, basically this season they're like in the process of getting divorced, but Shiv is also pregnant and Tom doesn't know. And but the last episode they basically got back together, and now this episode is just like all imploding again.
Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Tom was being a real dickwad when he wanted to go to bed. Also,
Yeah.
wait, question that's probably obvious. Was that supposed to be like really like the presidential election and they had one of like the people just there? Okay,
Well,
also secondary question. What is the company? Like, do they have an app? Are they like what is it? Is it like Twitter?
it's like a media conglomerate, if that's the right word.
Oh,
because
like
ATN is
CNN
like
or
their
something?
news branch. They have a lot of like ATN is like Fox News. And then they have like a parks division, which Tom
Yeah,
is like
so they
head
also
of.
so they're Disney
And
mixed with Fox News.
yeah,
That's fucking
basically
crazy.
it's like
How
a
do you do
huge
that?
monster.
That's crazy.
Well, that's what Fox is. Fox makes movies and TV shows.
Yeah,
Oh
because
yeah,
like they
that's
and news.
true. I always forget that they do that and also the news.
Yeah.
That is kind of crazy. I don't know how do you get to do both those things? Those seem like they should be separate.
They should be.
Because capitalism.
Yeah.
Wait, so what is Mattson's company? Because his seemed like an app because he was saying the number of people, like users.
I think it's like a
but that might
streaming.
be just my
They're not very
assumption.
specific about it.
Check.
And I think it's on.
It's like Twitter, but not Twitter.
Yeah.
But it's like a fake, like it's just like a new like tech coding
Techie
bro
thing.
that's like
Yeah.
fake. Not fake, but like he's clearly lying about some things and is not as stable as he seems. And it's very different to like Waystar Royco because they're both obviously like billion-dollar like corporations, but like Waystar Royco is so like old money, like so established, and Gojo is like very new and very modern.
Yeah.
Got it.
But yeah, they're Swedish, and they come
Not
in
German.
during the moment of silence, serving
That
Hunt
was
on
so
a
funny.
platter. And I need to smoke a blunt with Oscar.
Ew, no, that would be nightmare. I mean, every blunt is a nightmare blunt to me, but like that'd be extra nightmare.
Yeah.
He would like look at me and I'd literally be like, you can't look at me. Like, no.
But
Someone
I
give him brown
realized that
contacts.
wait, what?
I said someone give him brown contacts, please. That would be my reaction to that situation.
That's like him, but his personality needs to be brown.
Yeah,
contacts.
exactly.
Yeah, I realized that Mattson is kind of the new Tom for Shiv because he's like her plaything, that like she's telling him what to do so that she can get ahead, but she's framing it like he'll get ahead for it, and there's like a romantic element involved, but not really. So yeah. But there's also the whole Rava and Kendall fight at the beginning. I love Rava. She makes history every time she steps on that screen.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
And there was
good, I'm good.
also there was more Kendall Logan parallels because he like when he was like I would do anything for my kids. Like I forget what exactly Logan said, but like he said something really similar to that.
He
sort of.
says that like everything I do for my kids, and Kendall basically says that in this
Yeah.
episode too.
Yeah, there's a lot of in this season, like especially since Logan died, like a huge theme is like Kendall is becoming Logan.
Which is
For
scary.
me, in my brain, the only person with the name Kendall is the guy from Big Time Rush.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, they're pretty similar, so.
Yeah.
What else? The Shiv and Tom fight, I think that they need to win Emmys for that. That was crazy, and I literally sobbed violently during it.
You did?
Yeah, I did. I actually
Okay,
cried.
good. Because I told Rachel, I was like, before I watched it, I was like, this episode was so good. Grace cried, and she was like, she did not cry. And I was like, I showed her the text that you were like, I'm crying, and she was like, no, she's joking. But I was like, no, she's actually crying. That was right.
No, I was actually crying.
I know, and I was like, no, she was actually crying. And I also, well, Succession does a complex character so amazingly, and I like that I'm not on a side.
Yeah.
I think that's
Of
always
like Shiv versus Tom.
Oh my God.
no, yeah, and I don't even like think about it as like trying to be like which one do I agree with, because at this point they've just gone back and forth on so many times on so many different things, and I'm just like, this is just like, I just feel bad for them. Like I just feel bad for this situation. Yeah.
I don't know them enough to know who I'm rooting for, but the fact that he just wanted Betty by time, that was really rubbing me the wrong way. Like, oh, you won't go to bed? Okay, go to bed. Deal with it. God.
Yeah, man up.
I mean that I can understand. I think if you want to go to bed, you go to bed. You don't have to make the whole show about it.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
at the
Go
end
to
of the
bed.
day, it's like you can just like ask like your like she could have just been like, Shiv, get him out when they leave, but like you can go to bed if you want to go to bed. I thought that this episode was really interesting because it all took place in one place more or less, except for like the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes, which I think is really cool. And people like
Bottle episode.
yeah, which is like the
I
reputation
learned that.
like, being like cheap, but like obviously that's not necessarily the case, especially in this. And I just like I love like things that take place in mostly one place.
They do that a lot in this show.
They do, because it isn't
Which I like
I feel like you were talking about this before of like they're so like opulent, but that's not really like the focus in a lot of ways. Like there's very little like beauty in the show for people who are so like wealthy, because like their wealth just like evades like any sense of like decor, taste, or style, because it's just like so unimaginable. And even like in the Sweden episode, like I think we were talking about this, how it's like, yes, it was so beautiful, but like they somehow found a way to make it like look bland and like completely like corporatize it. And I think that the way that like setting works in this show is really interesting in that regard, because it does not try to like show off the wealth in like typical ways you might imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And like
another thing they do is they do a lot of close-up shots, and they don't do a lot of wide shots, which you would expect if they were going to all these like amazing locations and they have these giant houses and all that. But instead they do a lot of close-ups, because the show is about like the power dynamics amongst the wealthy and not really like the opulence and the beauty of wealth.
Mm-hmm. I also think that like kind of going off of like what we've all been saying, like costuming is so interesting in the show, because they all just dress so like tastelessly. Like it's so soulless, and like so much of like the like visual aspects of the show are so soulless. And I always think it's really, I think it was Tom who was like, I like money, I like things, I like my materials, I don't want to sacrifice that. I like having my watch. I'm like, you don't though. Like none of you like your possessions. It's not about that anymore. It's like way past the point of that even being a consideration. Also, side note, Carrie was Logan's like 20-year-old like assistant slash
Oh,
like girl.
like little girl thing.
Yeah, like he just like was like addicted to like being like cheating and like having sex, especially with like young women. Um and in one of the episodes, she was wearing a Zara blazer, which I think is just like that's so perfect.
That's so
That is
true.
perfect. Did you like know just because you'd seen other people wear it and knew it was from
No,
Zara?
I saw someone who like pointed it out.
Oh, okay.
Like, they're like, did they not like I don't know. They're like, ooh, costume designing was on a budget, and so on. They're like, obviously, like that's intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also like they spend so much money on their clothes to just like look like everyone
Look
else.
like-
It's so
yeah.
crazy.
I feel like that's pretty like accurate too of like the mega wealthy because like there's only so much more money you can throw at a shirt and it still looks like a shirt. Have you ever seen like the millionaire or billionaires calendar where it's like you go to this you always start New Year's at this island in the Caribbean. You know what I'm talking about? And they always
No,
go
I
to
don't
this
know
one
that.
race. Oh my God. Okay, I'll tell you it. Well, I don't know all the exact things, but I'll send you guys an article after
Okay.
if I can find it. But basically, there's this thing, I think it's called like the Billionaires Calendar, and there's like a monthly event, and this is real, that like the wealthiest people in the world go to all of these events, but they like are these crazy extravagant like events, and they're mostly on yachts, but like the people don't actually care about them. But there's this one island they go to for New Year's, and like every millionaire's yacht is at this thing. And then they always go to like a specific horse race and a specific car race in Monaco and all these
Formula One.
different. Yeah, and so they go to these fancy events, but like, do any of them actually care about like a car race? No. Do any of them actually care about the horses? No. But these are the fancy events, so they're gonna go.
I think the election backdrop was fabulous and fascinating.
It's so good.
And I just like love I don't want to be like in the age of wokeness. It's a really refreshing look, but like it really is because like I feel like a lot of shows are progressive in that they know that that's like the correct thing to do right now. So they make the characters like artificially like progressive, but in a really shallow way. And like Succession just like is like explicitly about like a conservative corporation, and like all of the characters like they don't even have political leaning to me, like the same way they don't have
They don't.
sexualities. It's literally just it's all like just a very like selfish, just like power focused thing where that just like doesn't, because it doesn't affect them. Like the presidential results, like they don't really affect them, at least not in the ways that it would affect like regular people. And so I think the way that this episode was like, when you're at the top, there isn't a difference between Democrat, Republican. It's like just
Rich.
much a power play. And
Yeah.
like I thought it was so interesting the way that when they were like, okay, you go take the liberals, I'll do the conservatives. And it was just so like at that point, like they are so two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I feel like that was explored a lot in this episode with Kendall and his daughter, because Kendall's whole thing in this episode is that he's trying to like change Waystar into making it more progressive, which is obviously a good thing, but it's also his motivations behind that are literally just to protect his daughter. Like for them, it's all about the tribe. It's not about the world.
Yeah.
It's like about protecting their family, their wealth, their feelings. It's not about
And with like appearance.
Yeah, and appearance too.
Like I feel like with Logan was like very outwardly conservative because that was like okay at the time, and that was sort of like like
that was what that's where the money is, really
commonplace. But now it's like, I especially with Shiv, not necessarily this season, but in the older seasons, like was so wanted to appear like progressive and with the times, but she didn't give a fuck. It was just about like that would paint her in the best light.
And how they're like betting on the presidential election and stuff, and how even just the fact that it's a party full of rich people and there isn't like, it's not a party for Mencken supporters, it's not a party for Jimenez supporters, it's a party for people who are going to make money off of this thing. And they're all like, no one's arguing with each other, no one's debating the politics of the election, they're all just like getting along, which is like very true of like Democrats and Republicans, like they who are rich. I mean like politicians, not like the average voter, but Democrats and Republicans at the top are very like, they have the same interests in mind. Basically, it's just like to make money, so they don't fight with each other like when they see each other in the streets. Like,
Yeah.
it's just interesting.
The only one who does care is Connor, and he's pulling at 1%.
And he's pulling
Percent in
less than
Alaska,
4 in
though.
Alaska, and now he's going to be the ambassador to Oman. Okay, Succession characters as marine animals. Hannah, please weigh in. We have 2 already. Logan is a great white shark, and Connor is a dolphin. Logan is pretty obviously a great white shark. No explanation needed. But Ella, do you want to talk about why Connor is a dolphin?
Well, I think Connor's a dolphin because he's like part of 2 worlds, where he's not really accepted as a member of the family. Connor, by the way, well, you know who Connor is. He was the guy who's to be president / the Omar ambassador, and he has a different mom than the rest of them, and he's always like not seen as a Roy sibling in the way that the others are. And he's not in the business the way that they are. Like his interests do not like primarily lie there. He's just like drama free. Like really, he's just like stays in his own lane. He's moisturized.
He's moisturized.
He's chasing the bag. And I think just like, dolphins are mammals. Like they're part of the ocean, but they're not like really part of it. But they're chill. I mean, I feel like you're like, from what I've learned tonight is no, they're not that chill. But like to me, they are chill. And also dolphins are very smart. That's like the thing that people know about them, but they don't have a smart vibe to them. The only reason that like people think they're smart is because that they know the fact. But like I don't think, if you didn't know a dolphin was smart, personally I would not look at a dolphin and be like, that's a smart creature. And I think Connor's like that. I think because he is intelligent, but I don't think he tries to like use that as like a power move the way that the others do. And I think he's like very intelligent, but in a more laid back kind of way, as a dolphin is.
I also think Greg is a disgusting worm. I don't know what the grossest
like
creature in the sea is.
He's like a leech.
There's a sea cucumber that looks like a penis, and that's immediately what I thought of for Greg.
Okay, that's a good idea. Yeah,
I think it's that. Also, I think Shiv, based on my one episode of knowledge, should be like an octopus because they are very like cunning and tricky, and they can like open jars, which is like cool if you're an octopus. If you're a human, like okay, opening jars isn't that hard, but like if you're an octopus and you can open a jar, that's like pretty like skillful. And I feel like unsuspecting.
She's like playing both sides. Like she's
she's got like
hands.
Hands everywhere. Like she's washing dishes, and she's like feeding the baby. Sorry, I'm just thinking of that one time SpongeBob had 8 arms.
Also,
continue.
In my one episode of knowledge, Tom kind of like defensive. I don't know if he's always like that, but I feel like he was very like defensive this episode. So it's giving pufferfish like really, because he looks like a dweeb, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
He looks really like derpy, kind of like a pufferfish. And then like someone pisses him off and he just gets all like screamy and shouty like a pufferfish, and he just like puffs up.
I hate when
that's
sorry.
I agree with pufferfish. You said Shiv is a dolphin, Ella, and she's actually an octopus.
Oh, I'm sorry. Dolphin on the mind.
I'm thinking Kendall is like some other type of shark, but I don't know
You're
which
right.
one. Because he has to be like really similar to Logan, but not.
Not like as deadly because
But one of the coolest one of the coolest sharks is called the mako shark, and it's the fastest shark underwater, and it's like really like deadly, but no one knows about it. So that kind of gives him, because like he's not known yet because he's not in charge yet, but like he's down there and he's zooming around. He's
that
catching
looks
the
like
prey.
That looks
That, like,
like him.
ass looks like Kendall. But I always think about Kendall, which is like I think his Logan descent is really interesting because Roman has always been the more Logan one to me. Kendall has just always been like someone where I'm like he has a heart. There's a soul in there. He is not like the ruthlessness of Logan, and maybe that's where he's going. But like his conscience has always been like the thing that has like shown through to me more than like any other character.
He tries to act like Logan, but I don't think he really is like a killer in the way that Logan says it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like a nursing shark or those sharks that don't bite.
A nurse shark, yeah.
Yeah, nurse
Like
shark.
Thelma. They're really cool. We have one. Her name's Thelma.
Aw.
It's
Yeah.
cute.
I would say Kendall is nurse shark.
Whales. Whale. What's a whale's vibe?
Whales just
You think
like
whale's vibe?
they're so unbothered. They're simply there to exist. And like that's all.
Loki Willa.
I was gonna say Jerry.
I don't
I
know
think
either
Jerry's
of those
more
people.
of a killer whale. More of an orca.
Really, I think she's more of a whale in that she's. I just think she has the wisdom of
She
a
has the
whale.
wisdom, but she
Very
also has
wise.
she isn't peaceful like a whale, like a blue whale.
Okay, she could be a killer whale.
Yeah.
She's not a shark
Yeah.
because sharks are boys.
Yeah, sharks are boys.
Sharks are boys, yeah.
Can't be a shark actually.
I think Willa maybe should be like an angelfish or just something gorgeous.
Yeah,
Oh, the parrotfish. She should be a parrotfish.
she could be a parrotfish. She's so
Yeah.
good.
Hannah, you don't really know Willa from this episode because
I
she
was
only
gonna say,
has
I've
like
never
one line.
She was the
But
girl with
she's
Connor.
yeah, she's like my favorite.
He
Oh,
was
she's
Okay.
so
like one
parrot.
person supports me, and I'm gonna listen to her. Yeah, that
Yeah.
could be Willa.
Like look at those teeth. That's so
That's crazy.
that's
They're
crazy.
beautiful. Look at these colors. I love fish.
Yeah, they're
That's
so cool.
gorgeous. That's gorgeous.
They're so like derpy looking, like their eyeballs. That's hilarious.
Wow, I love it.
That's what they do.
Hannah, do you watch aquarium videos? I mean, you kind of live it, so I feel like you probably do.
Well, so we put on like a webcam that our aquarium has webcams that we normally have on. Like we watch each other work. Like if we're in the dive locker and we're like not doing the dive, then we'll watch the other people to like, and we'll wave to each other to like see if we need anything. But if we're not having our own webcams up, then we normally have a different webcam up of like some other aquariums to like look at fish.
Well, I really like aquarium videos and just like I call them aquarium, but more just like videos of the sea, of the fish.
Yeah,
Madsen
man.
and Roman, we need to do.
They're so cheeky. Like what's
Madsen is like an eel.
Madsen is
Yeah.
I like love Madsen.
Me
I think
too.
he's just so charming, and I have a like well like I mean this is something we talk about a lot, Grace, where it's like a lot of the characters who I like are not I don't like them as people. And sometimes vice versa. Like Connor, no offense. I just don't I think he's like morally pretty sound. I just don't have any like positive, strong feelings for him vibes wise. Girl, you need to stop with this madness. Oh, I gotta pop up on my
Yeah.
my screen. I don't know. Okay. And I just love Madsen. Like, he makes me chuckle.
I know, I like him too.
Like when he was like, Ebba?
Oh my god, that was everything.
That was everything.
Like, again, that would have worked on me.
Yeah.
Is Ebba like his like assistant or his lover? Or
Both.
maybe both.
Both.
Okay.
Which is a
Why
lot
did
like
he-
Logan.
Why did he let that guy, Greg, the terrible man, like bully her so much?
Because he was
Because
also kind of bullying
he
her.
doesn't-
Because they're
yeah.
exes.
Oh, okay.
They're
Oh, okay.
scum
I
as
didn't.
well.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Put scum in a class here. Why?
What about Roman?
Oh, Roman's something like pathetic. And I
disagree.
like Roman, but he's just like he's the most like really. I think he's like a very pathetic man. Not in I'm not even trying to like shit on him. I think he makes me sad, but
Oh, especially these past few episodes where he like fired Jerry.
yeah, he does make me deeply sad.
He's like low-key a sea urchin.
He needs to
I
have
think
a bigger presence than that though.
That
Because sea
looks like a
urchins are so
swordfish.
passive.
What does a swordfish do?
A swordfish, they're pretty. I feel like that's accurate. Like, they're just. I mean, they're the same as like any other large ocean fish. They're like
Seem defensive, which he is.
they are.
Just the thought of like having a sword. Well, they don't have swords, but
A
they
sharp,
do have
pointy
like
thing.
the pointy thing, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just feels very Roman of like guarded, like very guarded at all times, armed, ready to stab. Paranoid, sort of.
True.
Very true. I agree.
Not very sexual.
Not very sexual, but like a little bit. There's a lot of okay, swordfish. There's a lot of phallic imagery there.
Oh yeah,
That's
there's a
like
lot of perverseness, but not like
perverseness.
sex
Yeah,
appeal.
it's not sexual, but it's very perverse,
Yeah.
and that's him to a T. I mean, yeah, swordfish.
Frank is a blue whale for me.
I can see that.
And Carl is a queen.
Carl's a queen. Wait, I'm gonna make a fish. Oops.
What? I don't know if that's a fish.
Good tail.
Wait.
You know, if you close your
Okay.
eyes.
Okay, maybe if I do an O instead.
Wait, Hannah, have I shown you my sailboat? Get ready
No.
for this. Do you get it?
Oh, it's like sideways. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
so cute.
Yeah, I
That's
see it.
adorable. I'm gonna start using that. It's gonna be
Good.
like my signature when I text people.
Yeah, we have to like make it a trend.
Yeah.
Let's make like
Another thing we'll convince the internationals is a real thing that everyone does in America.
Yeah. Along with saying unbecoming.
Yeah. It's a really common word around here.
It is. We just say it.
It's
Like,
very
this is
unbecoming of you.
Mhm.
unbecoming.
Yeah.
Uncouth. I like uncouth too.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a big one. I feel like
Um,
that's entered the lexicon. I feel like you've said that, and that's entered my lexicon. Because of you.
Uncouth? Uncouth?
Uncouth, yeah. I forget what
Uh,
context you said it in, but it hit.
Mhm. Hannah, do you want an update on your goddaughter?
Literally always. And I hope
Okay.
you know that, okay, so one of my coworkers also has a gecko.
Really?
Yeah, wait, did I not tell you this?
No.
And hers is named Mako, like the shark. And
That's so funny.
so I always tell her about Strawberry, and she tells me about her gecko.
Is it also a crested gecko?
Yeah, it looks similar. I'll send you a
Oh my
picture
God.
next time she sends me a picture.
That's so funny. Maybe they're cousins.
Probably.
So my only
Actually,
update is
probably not.
that I've oh my God, what the hell? My throat just like wouldn't let me make noise. I fed her
Okay.
mango
Did she
the other
like
day
it?
and she really liked it.
That's so
Yeah.
exciting. She's a
And
little
she's
fruit girly.
getting bigger. She's like that
Oh my God.
big.
That's so exciting.
And she'll be at camp,
I
but not on
know.
display.
Not on display.
hmm
You're taking her with you. Aw.
Very excited.
Yes.
Hey, Hannah, are you going to camp?
Yeah.
Whoa.
5th year, baby.
I'm going to camp.
Okay, camp.
Maybe. Yeah, I will.
No,
No, I'm not.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, now I don't know if maybe I'm not. Maybe I lied. I'm full
The
of
world
lies.
may never know.
We make moves in silence.
Okay, I'm a lot. I'll be making a lot of silent moves this summer.
Oh yeah.
No one's ready.
Yeah.
For it.
Except for me, I'm
Yeah,
ready.
that's all I have to say.
That's all I got today.
That was a great
And great
pod,
talk,
ladies.
A lot
everyone.
of fun. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about fish.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
glad.
Yeah,
Know a lot about them.
Yes, you do.
for
Yeah.
creatures.
Yeah, I'm always happy to talk to people who don't have a degree in marine biology, because sometimes at work it is frustrating to be in an environment where everyone has a degree in marine biology, and sometimes you don't know something and it's like, wow, I don't know something about fish, but then you talk to people who like are not fish experts and it's like, wow, I actually realized
know a
the
lot.
wealth of knowledge that I have about fish is extremely high.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very great.
So basically,
reassuring.
you're saying we're stupid.
No, I'm just saying that you know a lot more about Succession and I know a lot more about sharks.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
fair
majoring in
point.
Succession.
And they're basically the same amount of importance.
I would say
Succession,
so.
Yeah. And that's why
Yeah.
this segment was so perfect, because we brought our own ideas to the table.
Yeah, exactly. Collaboration is key.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you for joining us, and everyone,
Oh, of
thank
course.
you for watching, and join
Let's
us
give a
next
big round of
week.
applause. At home on YouTube Red, I want to hear those claps.
Oh, they better be. YouTube Red.
YouTube Red, sound off in the chat.
Hey,
Whoop whoop.
holla.
Subscribe to our Patreon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We don't have one of
and
those.
use
but
our
yeah.
We should
use
make
our
one.
use our code GRACE to get $10 off your next box of HelloFresh.
Off your next grilled cheese.
Yep.
Five
Free.
Guys.
It's free grilled cheese day tomorrow.
It's free grilled cheese.
At
Day with the
Five
code
Guys.
Ella and Grace and Hannah forever. At Five Guys. Go to your local. They'll know about
Go
it.
to Five Guys.
They'll
and
know
get
about
grilled
it.
cheese.
They've been notified.
They
I
know.
texted them.
All right. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.